Greetings and welcome to the Diablo 4 video. This is from the PTR, taking a first look into the Incinerate Sorc of season, what is it? 6, I guess. Seeing what changed and yeah, how can we elevate these new changes to our benefit. So I put together a build. Of course, it's not 100% refined and it's not perfect yet, but the initial results are very promising with some room for improvement. And yeah, let's just get over it. So there's a lot to talk about, but in essence, it's actually staying the same for the most part. So we got 2 useless skill points to invest. Still, it's so annoying, but just put them anywhere into the basic skills so that we can unlock core skills. Getting Incinerate, Enhanced, and Destructive. Destructive is just way better. I mean, 30% less damage from enemies that are right in front of you is just chef's kiss. Elemental Dominance 3, and you see I have 3 more. It's through my amulet. It's not the most ideal passive, but it's okay, because most of the time we are casting above 50 mana anyways. And I got the Flame Shield. You can do Mystical Flame Shield if you want. I really like it because it gives a huge crowd control of a 3-second stun. But Flame Shield is not the best anymore since the cooldown now starts after the duration, making it an even longer cooldown. In any case, Teleport gives us with Shimmering damage reduction, which is pretty neat. And then Glass Cannon is a given. And we have Ice Armor together with Mystical, which gives us more damage against frozen enemies. Frost Nova, Mystical Frost Nova for some vulnerable application. Although I don't really need this, I have to toy around with it because I have the lucky hit chance to apply vulnerable to the enemy. But it's kind of nice if you're in a pinch and you really want that vulnerable and more damage to everything around you. And then these 2 are new passives. Woohoo! Energy Focus, I generate a 6-second barrier for 1.5% of my max life, so not really that high. But every second it's generated up to 30% of my max life. This effect is lost for 5 seconds after losing health, but you only lose health if you don't have a barrier, right? So it's kind of pretty neat, I suspect. Maybe 1 or 2 points are enough, but we will see. And then Dampen Layer gives us a flat damage reduction while we have an active barrier, so it's a nice synergy right here. Moving on to the Conjuration build, we don't really use anything. This is not the Conjuration build that elevates Conjuration Mastery, although it still is pretty interesting. We do get Precision Magic though for more lucky hit chance, 1 to align the elements, and 3 into Protection, as well as Mana Shield. You can see now they kind of rearranged the passives a little bit. Mana Shield doesn't have the prerequisite of align the elements anymore, so we still take him both, so it doesn't change for us here. And then we got Inner Flames for more pyro damage while we are healthy, so this is the one that we actually would want on our amulet. I think we have like Endless Pyre, which is okay. And then Crippling Flames for Immobilize is pretty neat. It's pretty high chance actually. I also got Fireball and Enhanced Fireball, so I can have it as a enchantment. This one's also new evocation. Well, there's also like familiars new. I'm not really gonna talk about this. It's like a new summon, a conjuration spell. It might be pretty neat, but it's a whole different build, so we don't really use that as far as I understand. In any case, there's also a passive for this. I don't think this is really... I don't know if this is good for us. I mean, in theory, we get 3x more damage for pyromancy skills. So with Incinerate, for each skill that we have equipped of their type. So their type doesn't mean I get 3x for pyromancy and 3x for frost and 3x for shock. Or do I get, if I have Inferno equipped and Flame Shield equipped and Incinerate equipped, I get like 9x if I have 3 points. I'm not really sure. I need to check it out. This could be nice because it says increase damage for each skill you have equipped of their type. So I assume if you have like a full fire skill bar, then you get like 5 or 6x times 3. In any case, we also get Inferno. Now you can put in more points in Ultimate, which is pretty neat in this case, lowering the cooldown. And I'm a fan of Inferno because also of the Prime Inferno, which pulls enemies to its center. We don't really need Supreme Inferno. Whoops. So I'm putting 5 points into these because we also have more points to spend now because we're level 60 in total. I guess like 10 more points. Fury Surge and Endless Pyre gives us more bonus burning damage, and then it's increased while they have more damage over time, or burning damage over time, than total life. So at the end of the life of the monster, it does even more damage. Soulfire, of course, and then 1 into Warmth. Have to toy around in terms of like survivability and stuff, but it seems to be fine. And then Combustion is the way to go. Reverse Mastery, because this is not bugged anymore, so it doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. The others are not really interesting. Even this new one doesn't really do much for us. There might be some build down the road. Again, this is very early stages, just a first look, but we will get Combustion, gives us 60% X increased damage, and then additional 4 per unique source of burning, which isn't really much. I mean, if we use Inferno, that's another source of burning. If Firewall procs from our enchantment is another source of burning. That's 2 right here. We could use Flame Shield for another one. And that's about it. We're not using Hydra, so just a little bit more damage. So a bit, for me, it's a bit boring key passive because it really doesn't do much other than, oh, here, it's increased damage. Okay, well, fine. Thanks, and move on. Paragon, for some reason, I like the new design, but it's less legible, right? Like it's really hard to read. I don't know why, but yeah. So we can have a maximum of 4 attached boards. This is new, so 5 boards in total, 5 glyphs in total, and that means you can choose many more other things on the board. I feel like we will get more Paragon points in total, and I'm missing some, but I'm not getting any levels right now, so maybe that's an expansion thing. But going through it on the main board or first board, I got Control for more damage against crowd control enemies and against slowed or chilled and stunned or frozen. It's a bit of a pity that this does not apply to immobilized. I don't know if it did before, but might not be the best glyph for me now that I think about it. Elementalist might be nice as well, or something like well, Flame Feeder is an odd one, right? Because Flame Feeder gives us burning or more damage against burning targets, like a lot, but then gives us increased direct damage to burning enemies, which we don't really use. Like, we don't have direct damage, so it's kind of a weird one, unless you want to use Flame Scar, but more to that in a second. So that's what we get here. It's really not much. I mean, Tactician is probably better because it also gives us a huge bonus to intelligence, non-physical damage, and damage to elites. So probably gonna go with Tactician now instead of Control. And then moving on, we got the board of Burning Instinct, of course, now capped at 80%. Might even be a season 5 thing, but yeah, here it's 80%. And then I got the Pyromaniac, and I just see that I forgot to get another willpower here. Again, like early stages, might be some flaws in here, but I would appreciate your feedback as well. Let's get some point here, get some willpower. And this gives us, of course, more damage with Incinerate the longer we channel, and also bonus to fire damage and damage reduction modifiers. And funnily enough, it gives us a legendary bonus of increased cold damage. I don't know why. Like, a Pyromaniac glyph gives you cold damage. Yeah, I mean, I get the dual trio elementalist whatever build, but didn't expect that. It could be helping us with Frigid Fate, but I don't know how it's calculated. Like, does it add 20x of our cold damage and then applies to here? I'm not sure. But we are gonna get it for the Incinerate as well, and then Burning Instinct as mentioned. Frigid Fate is the next one. Still very good. have to read it twice that I haven't changed it exactly. Bonus damage to vulnerable enemies equal to the bonus damage with cold. So you deal overall bonus damage to vulnerable enemies, and it is summed up or calculated with the damage with cold, which also includes non-physical damage, and we have a lot. So this is really easy to achieve. Then reinforced is pretty neat because as we saw in the passive tree, we have a barrier pretty much up. Maybe not all the time, but very, very often. So this is very nice. And then we go through here. We got the new board, Fundamental Release, which each time I apply Vulnerable Burning or Critical Strike to an enemy, they take 10x increased damage up to 30x. So Vulnerable is no problem, Burning is no problem. Critical Strike might be a problem, although there is ways where you can Critical Strike even with a Burning build. There's a new legendary power. More to that in a second when we go to the gear. Then I got Enchanter right here. Gives me max res, which is nice, but more importantly, it gives me more increased damage, and a lot actually, and also increases the overall damage with the legendary bonus. And then lastly, you got the Enchantment Master board, which I really like to try out because some of the enchants got changed. But I don't have the points right now to get here, so I would get here if I get the points. We get more Paragon points in the future. And I got Territorial right here, increases my damage to close enemies and damage reduction against close enemies, as well as increased damage to vulnerable targets. So that's it, at least. I mean, in the future, we don't need to spend so much time going through this board because it's only 5 boards now. Moving on to the gear, Harlequin Crest is still number 1. Just this incredible cooldown reduction, damage reduction, +4 skills. Then I get the runes Live and Ohm, which means I need to stand still for an accumulative 6 seconds, so it doesn't need to be 6 seconds in one sitting, so to say. And then I'm war crying, increasing my movement speed and my damage chart. I think that's pretty neat for an Incinerate build and procs pretty often. Then with this rune word, I'm kind of toying around with, not sure what to take. I just equip this and haven't tried it yet. If I'm casting a skill with cooldown, which happens fairly often, 10 times, then I will evoke Spiritborn's Vortex. So we will see that in a second, which will be nice. And of course, Turret's Might is just super good. A Soulbrand, which actually maybe even better, but they have not given us a good Soulbrand. Like if I search here Soulbrand, I get this legacy item. I don't know why it's legacy, because of the item power change, I guess. And then I got this piece of crap, 638 item power, and then this one, which is 633 item power. But as you can read, it gives you max life, it gives you barrier generation, which plays nice with our other synergies of barrier, damage reduction while healthy, and then I get the barrier when I use my health pot, and I also get damage reduction while I have a barrier. So it might even be, it's not better than Tyrell's Might, but you know, if you don't need the all res that much, it is really, it competes with Tyrell's Might if it is an ancestral item with like maybe a greater affix. So there's another choice. And for gloves, of course, like Incinerate, I would want to have intelligence instead of max life, and not vulnerable damage, but fire damage over time. But yeah, that just is the point of not having optimal gear on the PTR, but pretty close. And then I got the and here, sorry. Right now I got Inner Calm. I'm actually a bit unsure what to get here. I don't really like Inner Calm because it's not accumulative standing still. You have to actually stand still for 3 seconds, which is only really good against bosses. So we could do as we did before and do Shredding Blades, but I also want to show you there's a new aspect for Incinerate, which is called Overheating. After channeling Incinerate for 2 seconds, it deals critical fire damage per second for 5 seconds. So additionally, and then casting Incinerate refreshes and maintains the bonus. And this I haven't figured out yet, other than the legendary note that I showed you earlier. What is the actual benefit of this? It doesn't do a lot of damage, and I'm feeling it's just more for proccing things, for proc crits. We could, for example, run with what's it called? Elemental Attunement is something with critical strike. Other than that, I mean, doesn't really do much damage. Do we really want to stack fire crit damage just because of one legendary aspect? I don't think so. We want to keep our combustion running. Devouring Blaze also not really worth it. So it's really hard to tell what they want us to do with this. I mean, yeah, you get 10x more damage, but I mean, I could also use, for example, Shredding Blades, which gives me 35x against vulnerable enemies. So that's far superior. Anyways, maybe you find a good reason for this new aspect where it lets us crit with, it doesn't crit with Incinerate, but it applies some critical damage additionally to the Incinerate damage. I mean, yeah, kind of sounds weird, but the Incinerate damage itself doesn't crit with, that would be amazing, but it does not. And then Ever Living, yeah, it's just an all-time good one. And then I also got the Concussive Strike, which is kind of neat. It's not really great. You could still get some other stuff. I think the one that pulls every 2 seconds, this enemies are pulling it, you take 10x increased damage. That's probably better. So let's go with that. And then it's still the king, the two-handed staff, as far as I understand. I tried to use, where is it? Flamescar, Flamescar, Flamescar. So I used this one, Flamescar, with some, you know, some offhand. I even got the masterwork on Incinerate. The item power is significantly lower. Again, you don't really get the best item power. You don't really get necessarily like a let's do it like this. Don't necessarily get like a GA on it. I actually killed Druid twice, and this Flamescar dropped, but it's still not great. Maybe if it's an ancestral one with like a GA on Incinerate, maybe it will be better. But look at this freaking tempering. 53.7% chance for Incinerate to deal double damage. Think about that. Every second Incinerate ticks, that's how I understand it, deals double damage. So it's essentially a critical strike, right? How the F can Flamescar compete with that even remotely? Then you have a huge intelligence, you have a huge damage over time, you have the huge Flamethrower aspect of splitting into 3 beams each, dealing 180x more damage. Like, I feel like Flamescar might be at some point a stepping stone until you get like a GA2 and stuff, something like that, but this is just incredible. And I think that's also the only, like, this is the new it's a new tempering with this double damage. It's just amazing, right? So yeah, 200 staff it still is, which yeah, it's kind of okay to me. I mean, I have a cosmetic for 200 staff, so I want to use it. There it is. Beam. All right, moving on. Amulet, botched temper. You can see, I hate tempering. I got this amulet, I found this on PTR, and it has Endless Pyre. I thought, yeah, well, Endless Pyre is great, right? And then I re-rolled something else, and then I got Elemental Dominance. Like, wow, that's great. And then I tempered it, and it's like, why? Why hurt me like this? I don't need Pyromancy critical strike damage, so this temper is useless. It's only legendary amulet. I cannot even slap a second temper on it. So, but in in conclusion, or what I want to say is, you want conflagration on this because it's still a super high modifier. I am toying around with X-Faults again. I'm not sure if it's worth it. The problem I do have now with Tal Rashas is that I'm probably not able to get all the bonuses. Where's Tal Rashas? Here. But Tarashas has current reduction, has potent warding. What is potent warding again? I think it's this thing. Wait. Come on. So it kind of gives me more auras, but I already have a lot of auras. Look at my res. I mean, what? Oh. I guess I'm not at maximum for lightning and poison, which is weird. In any case, going back to my point, Tarashas is nice. But do I have a Pyromancy Shock of Frostkill? Oh, they changed it to Pyromancy Shock of Frostkill. So wait a second. Oh, they changed it. I'm not sure if it was already like that in season 5. If so, then I apologize. But so this is way superior now. Maybe not way superior, but I would get. I mean, Pyromancy Shock of Frostkill is easy, right? I can just Frost Nova. I can just teleport. And I can just incinerate. Do I need to do damage? No, I only need to cast it. And then I can just keep it up. So this is probably more damage. I was just asking myself, do I want both? But I have this lucky hit gives vulnerable. So let's do this. And then do I have another Tarashas that's better maybe? No, I don't. No, I don't. Equipment. Grant all uniques. Bing, bing. Ah, beautiful. Ring, ring, ring. It's not really. Yeah, it's a little bit better, I guess. All right, so sorry for that little tidbit, but it's good that I make this video, so I saw that I can improve this. Yeah, it's here. For me, it's really hard to see if X-Faults might be better or not, since it has a huge damage over time, but Tarashas has non-physical damage and lucky hit. They might be really, really close, and the lucky hit chance stuff, yeah, might also be very, very close. But I think that Tarashas is better. Anyways, moving on, we have Engulfing Flames right here. This is like more like a flag spot. We could also put a different aspect right here. I'm still toying around with this. Sometimes I really like Engulfing Flames. It just does 6x overall, which is 6x overall, which is not very much, but it also is for each secondary burning, so up to 30x. I think this is really, really great against bosses. All right, enough talking, enough talking. Let's go here. So it doesn't really say what difficulty this is. I think it's always the difficulty that you're in. So we are in Torment 3. There's one more difficulty. For now, I just want to try this and show you how it goes. And I believe there's still a season mechanic to be coming. To come. So there might even be more improvements. But since I just slapped this build on, yes, it has 2 mythic uniques. I know, but for one, the Harlequin's Crest just makes the build stronger. It doesn't make it. It's not necessary to have it, right? So, how do I explain this? You can play the build without these mythic uniques. They just give you more power, so you can push higher difficulties. And it's part of the chase, right? I mean, where's this vortex thing? Wait. Okay. It doesn't look like much. Anyways, we have a lot of pulling in. We actually do critical strikes. I'm not sure with what currently. Maybe somebody of you can tell me. I'm not sure if the Tyrael's Might is the one critting, but you can see all these yellow damage numbers. They are crits, right? So I'll take it. No need for that new legendary power. And yeah, damage numbers are squished, so they are fairly low right now, although I have seen people with big damage numbers, so I'm not really sure what's going on with my build, since I'm also in Torment 3 at least. But compared to the live server, where the damage numbers are much higher, it really looks a bit odd at first. Minion of Chaos. So yeah, gameplay wise, nothing really changes. Which is, I mean, it's a bit sad actually. You have these rune words, they give you like skills from other classes, but not like really. Since you cannot really use it, it just gets used automatically when you fulfill the condition that you slotted in. So, like, technically, just gameplay-wise, I'm just doing the same thing, right? As in Season 4. So if you like that gameplay, then it's all good. It just, you know, character gets stronger, get a little bit more variation. But if you didn't like it in the first place, then maybe this build is not for you. And it won't really change in Season 6 in terms of gameplay mechanics. Oh, this guy just... Boom! It's gone! So I feel like we can try to go to the highest one. Why do I get a blue wand? What is happening? Huh? I get the blue wand for completing Nightmare Dungeons. Wow. So let's see here. Let's go to the highest of Torment. We actually get a reduced armor and resistances, so we're not looking all too great right now. I still believe we're capable. So can I just do this now? Oh yeah, now it's tier 8. Okay. That's kind of neat. I don't have to craft new dungeon keys. I just have to change difficulty. Overall world difficulty. Oh yeah. That's a difference. And we get a lot of damage. But I feel like we're not that far off in farming here, comfortably. That makes me hopeful that our beloved Incinerate build is good enough to be, let's say, viable to farm at the highest of levels. I understand that, yeah, here the glyphs are maxed out, you have to farm, I think, a lot for that and everything, but they only push your build so far, right? I think the underlying build here is pretty strong. And then we also get a season mechanic, and then we also get mercenaries, which hopefully, boom, hopefully make you even stronger. All right. So not quite there yet in terms of the highest torment, especially giving our not maxed out resistances, not maxed out armor. I believe what I need to do is to re-roll my pants into armor, because they have like this weird dodge chance on them. That's one thing I can do. Like here we get like, there's armor, not dodge chance, armor, armor, armor. Let's see if we cab out with that. Where's armor? Hello. They actually made this interaction faster. Hey. Is there already armor on it? No. Can I roll armor on it? Yes. There it is. So with that, we are almost the max. Now the max armor is 1000. And we need 7 more armor to reach it. And then in terms of res, actually what we can do is just a quick fix. Yen. You could, for example, just equip this one, which I actually really like. And then we're maxed out on the res again. Masterwork it. Boom, boom, boom. What we got? Even more res. And then we could try again. I mean, the damage is still the same, but I believe we won't die as quickly. I didn't need to open a new portal, but oh well. I like Light's Watch. It's nice. It's cozy. So we still need to find more damage. But we can figure that out in the live service once season 6 drops. Not a problem. But if you have toyed around with something similar and have ideas on how to improve the build, please sound off in the comments. I really like to discuss and trying to focus on, yeah, a couple builds only, and for one, the Incinerate Sorc. It's one of my favorites. Alright, I think this went on for long enough, maybe even too long. I appreciate if you stuck until the end on this little first look, or big first look into the Incinerate Sorc for Season 6. And until next time, good luck, have fun, and goodbye.